Hello there, I'm a nerd named Ryan. I love physical media, so let's talk about it. I'm someone who's loved physical media since I was a little kid when I started collecting DVDs. In fact, I still have the very first DVD that I ever owned. It was this, Die Another Day, the greatest of all the James Bond movies, as I'm sure we can all agree. Yeah, I don't know why I have this one still, but I liked it as a kid. I still like it now, it's fine. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. So if you are a physical media fan and collector like me, you've probably seen a lot of discourse around the current state of physical media in the streaming age. You've probably seen a lot of people describe it as either dying or already dead. I disagree. I don't think physical media is dying, but I do think it's changing. So let's discuss that. So when I was a kid, DVD was all the rage. You could go into any supermarket and have quite a big selection of DVDs. Of course, that isn't really the case now. You know, you go in most supermarkets nowadays and there still are a few DVDs, but the DVD section seems to be shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. The DVD and Blu-ray section is shrinking, and it's not difficult to see why. You know, a lot of people prefer to, sit at home and go through streaming services, scroll through Netflix or Disney Plus and find their movies that way. And there is nothing wrong with that. If you like to do streaming, that's fine. So long as you're supporting the filmmaker, I think you should watch films however you feel comfortable watching films. But of course, back when I was a kid, there was no streaming, so DVD was basically the option people had, and that's why it was massively popular. Then Blu-ray came along, and that was also massively popular. But as soon as streaming started taking off, DVD and Blu-ray sales slowly started to dwindle. So a lot of places, a lot of supermarkets and things like that are cutting back on DVD and Blu-ray, and there's also quite a few studios that are cutting back on releasing physical media. They're scaling back on their physical media production, studios like Disney and stuff like that. And you see all this news about Disney not releasing as many physical copies of their movies, and Netflix and Disney Plus shows not getting physical media releases, and supermarkets having much smaller physical media sections, and it can be very easy to go, well, physical media is dying. I think what's happening instead is physical media is becoming much more niche, it's becoming much more specialist, it's becoming much more for the collectors. I like to spend a lot of time on Zavvi and HMV.com and even Amazon and places like that, and I find more and more with new releases, I find more and more limited edition versions coming out. Back a few years ago, if I went into HMV, there'd be all the new releases, and there'd be like one or two steelbooks and maybe another one that was like a limited edition. Now, though, a lot of movies are getting these limited edition steelbooks and, special editions with art cards and stuff like that. I mean, when John Wick 4 came out, for example, I went on HMV, there were 4 different versions, 4 different special edition versions of John Wick you could buy. 2 that were HMV exclusive and 2 that were just, other steelbooks that HMV was stocking. On top of that, there was also an exclusive Amazon version, which had a lenticular slipcover and a bonus disc. So, I think rather than saying physical media is dying outright, I think it's becoming much more niche. I've seen in recent years companies like Arrow Video and Vinegar Syndrome and Second Sight and places like that. These companies are thriving, putting out limited editions of movies for collectors, and I think that's really what's becoming. That's really what's happening to physical media. It's not dying out completely. It's just changing. It's changing so that it becomes more for the collectors and more for the people who care about physical media. On top of that, a lot of movies are still getting physical media releases, like regular physical media releases. Like The Marvels is coming out pretty soon. There's a steelbook version from HMV of that you can get, but there is also the regular 4K, the regular Blu-ray, and the DVD. So, it's not just the standard editions of things are not going away, but I think the market is slowly starting to cater more to collectors and people who are going to buy the limited editions, because that's where physical copies and physical media is going to, that's how the industry is going to survive with these limited editions. I'll give you an example. Just recently, Disney put out the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. They put them out in this really nice steelbook sets. Actually, they did the same thing with Loki and WandaVision from Marvel. So there is actually no standard edition 4K or Blu-ray for these releases. If you want this release, you have to get the Steelbook version. And I think that's really interesting because rather than, stopping production on physical media altogether, it really seems like this is Disney testing the water to see if making more specialist physical media and focusing all their attention on special editions and limited editions for collectors and for people who really care about physical media, it's looking like this is an experiment to see if that's a viable option for them. I think it is. I think that's how physical media is going to survive, catering to the collectors, catering to those people who really, really care about it. Again, you look at studios like Arrow or Scream Factory or Vinegar Syndrome, they always take a lot of care in the bonus features they put together, particularly Arrow. A lot of Arrow sets, even when they release the standard editions, after they've done the limited edition, they always release a standard edition. Even those are packed with bonus features. To give you another example, Doctor Who. I'm a massive fan of Doctor Who. It's my favourite show of all time, and I love the classic series just as much as I love the new series. In fact, I maybe like the classic series a little bit more. Now, the BBC have slowly been putting out the entirety of the classic era of Doctor Who on Blu-ray in these big limited edition box sets with really nice packaging, limited edition packaging, bonus features, a big sort of thick booklet inside that gives you a lot of information about every single episode, all remastered in HD. And I think that's lovely. But they also, a few months after releasing these limited editions, put out these standard edition versions, which are basically the same thing but just in sort of just a standard Blu-ray case. But all the disc-based content is exactly the same. So if you, are more into the packaging and, the extra stuff and the really kind of cool limited collector's edition stuff, you can get this. If you still want to support physical media and get all the bonus features, but you don't want the big collector's edition packaging, they do release these as well. But the point is, these are packed with bonus features. They pack these sets up with bonus features, both archival ones and new ones, because they know that they're catering to physical media collectors. The vast majority of Doctor Who is now available on BBC iPlayer, and a lot of fans are gonna, check it out there, because that's the easiest and most convenient way to check it out. But the die-hard Doctor Who fans are gonna go for this. The super kind of die-hard fans who love the physical media, who want all the bonus features, who want all the extra stuff, they're going to go for one of these options. And I love that. I love that we're catering more to the people who really care about physical media, the people who really want to preserve physical media. That's really, really cool. And of course, there are other advantages to physical media. We've seen recently that Disney and Netflix have, taken shows and movies off of their platforms, and then you can't really watch them anymore. Unless you have a physical copy. And some of those don't even have physical copies anyway. There's a couple of shows Disney made for Disney Plus, and they took them off Disney Plus, but they've not released them on physical media. So, you know what I mean? Physical media is important, I think. I think it's an important thing. It is for me, at least. It means a lot to me. I'll always collect physical media. I'll always support physical media. I like, holding something in my hand. I like having something. I like having a disc, Streaming is fine. I use streaming myself. I'm not trying to disrespect streaming here. I use it myself. It's very, very convenient, I've got Disney Plus. I can watch all of The Simpsons on there if I want to. But I still have my favourite seasons of The Simpsons on DVD, just in case. And because I like the idea of having a physical object, of holding it in my hand and having all the discs and knowing I can pop the disc in at any point and just watch it. So I like that that's sort of where physical media is going now. It feels like it's moving in that direction where it caters more to people like me, to people who are collectors, who want all the extra packaging and all the bonus material and all the lovely sort of stuff that physical media offers that streaming just doesn't. And I do think also we're going to get to a stage where there's a real kind of resurgence in interest for Blu-ray and DVD. Just like how there has been recently in music, There was, when I was a kid, nobody made vinyl records, nobody bought vinyl records anymore, but now vinyl is all the rage. Hell, the vast majority of kind of major label releases and big sort of artists, when they release albums, they put them out on vinyl. Hell, look at the most recent Taylor Swift album. That had like 5 different coloured vinyl versions that you could buy, and people buy them. You know, they make money. People love them. People love vinyl. I love vinyl. I think it's great. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a resurgence of that with DVD and Blu-ray in the future as well. In fact, we have sort of started to get that, particularly in the horror community, with VHS. If I show you this, that I picked up recently, this is the Evil Dead 2 from Vice Press Home Video. This is a limited edition VHS, and it's not just like a collector's piece. It's not just like, you know, something for decoration. It is legitimately a VHS tape. Like, this actually does play. It has the movie on it and it plays. So, you know, sure, it's coming back as a niche, but it's still coming back. It's still having a bit of a resurgence. And I think DVD and Blu-ray is going to have that as well. So, again, I don't think that physical media is dying out. I think it is changing, and I think it is evolving to fit with the times and to fit with the streaming age. And I think it's catering more to people who really appreciate it and really like it and will, you know, and care about collecting it. Is it going to last forever? Who knows? But I think right now, physical media isn't going anywhere, so long as there are companies like Arrow and Criterion and, you know, Vinegar Syndrome that care about preserving it, and so long as there are fans and collectors who care about collecting it. So thanks for sticking with me through this very rambly video. Like, even by my standards, this was kind of rambling, wasn't it? But, you know, I care about physical media. I didn't really come into this video with a plan, but I really like physical media. I really care about physical media as a collector of it. And so I just wanted to kind of come on and give my thoughts on the current state of physical media and how I think, you know, it has the potential to stick around for many, many years to come if it continues catering to people like me who care about collecting it. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's basically all I have to say. See you when I see you. Bye.